Okay, started. Yeah, so today's session, we're going to continue with amortization. With what we've learned on Monday. If you're doing BNU, we're going to discuss it in more detail tomorrow during your tutorial as well. So let's get started. I'm just going to give you or refresh your mind on what we did the last time. So it's not going to be in detail, but just to refresh your mind. Remember, amortization is when all liabilities are paid by sequential payments at an equal interval as well. And for annuities, because there are payments, we calculate them using the present value of an annuity. And when we're doing those payments, as the outstanding principal decreases with time, the interest you owe will also decrease with time. But your principal repaid will increase, and at the end, your principal repaid at the end of the term should be the same as your opening balance in the beginning. Amortization schedule, remember, is the period, outstanding principal, interest, which we calculate at the simple interest, payment, and then the principal repaid. And how we complete the amortization schedule, we first calculate the payment, which we use the annuity present value of an annuity formula to calculate the payment, which is our R. And then once we have our payment, then we can calculate our interest, which we use the simple interest formula, where our R, we need to divide it by the compounding periods, but not the term, because the term is distributed. It will be distributed accordingly to your compounding period. So we only divide the rate by the compounding period. And then we calculate the principal repaid, which is your payment minus your interest. And then to get the outstanding principal will be, or the outstanding principal is called also the opening balance and the closing balance. It's the opening balance of the previous, it's the closing balance of the previous period, and it's the opening balance of that current period that you're looking at. So to get to the opening balance of line number 2, we're going to have to subtract our outstanding principal of line number 1 minus the principal repaid of line number 1. And we looked at an example where we drew up an amortization schedule for a loan of 4,000 Rand that was taken up for 3 years at 15% per annum, which was compounded half-yearly, and it is repayable by the 6 half-yearly payments. And we knew that we're going to have to calculate the payment, and this is the formula to calculate the payment for those who are using manual calculation. Always remember, your interest you divide by the compounding periods, and your N you multiply by the compounding periods. We state what we are given in terms of the manual calculation, and then we go and substitute the values onto the formula. And once we solve for R, the answer for R, which is our payment. Those who are using financial calculator, to do the same on your calculator, you clear your calculator from any data that is stored on your calculator, and then you put in your compounding period. You go on and off your calculator, and then you put in your present value, because you are given the present value. So you do plus or minus the present value, and then you put in the period, or you can put in the interest first. Remember, the order in this instance does not matter which one you do first. Then we put in our period, which we multiply by the compounding periods and store the value as our period. and then put in our interest and compute the payment. And when we compute the payment, we will get the same. Now we're ready to amortize the 4,000 rand. To amortize the 4,000 rand, remember, for this, those who are calculating manually, but it's also the steps that you need to also remember. To do this, we need to calculate first the payment, you create your amortization schedule. You put in your budget, so there were 6 half-yearlies, so there will be 6, because it's for 3 years. Every year, a year has two periods, so the loan was for 3 years, so there will be 6 periods that you will have to pay back the loan. The outstanding principal of the first period will always be equals to the principal amount or your principal or your present value at the beginning. Then we calculated our payment. We knew that our payment was 852 rand 18 cents, and we populated for the whole period, and the payment stays the same. If we sum all the payment, this will give us the future value of this 4,000 rand. To calculate the interest for the first payment, we use the simple interest formula, where we say our present value, it's 4,000 multiplied by our rate, which was 0.075, times our period. It's always going to be 1 for that period. And that gives us 300. And to calculate the principal repaid, we say payment minus interest, which was 852.18 minus 300, which gives us 552.18. Then we also have to calculate the outstanding principal, which is the closing balance after payment number 1, and that gives us 4,000 minus 552.18, and that will gives us an amount of 4,000 minus 552.18 gives us 3,447. Sorry, because I'm looking at the calculator, I'm not looking where I'm writing. 3,447.82. And then we can calculate our interest and then calculate principal repaid like that. And that is how you do it manually. Calculating it, finding the amortization on your calculator. Once you have calculated your payment, you can amortize your payment by pressing the amort button and press 1, then press down arrow 1, and then press the ENT button and press the down arrow. It will give you the balance. Down arrow, so this will give you the closing balance after payment number 1, because we told the calculator that we are calculating payment number 1. We are amortizing our first payment, and it will give you the closing balance after you make that first payment, which is 3,447.82, and then we calculate the principal amount, which is 522.18, and you will calculate your when you press the down arrow, it gives you your interest, and then you press down arrow. If we want to go and amortize and get the next payment, so we go and press down arrow and we press 2, and then press ENT, and then press down arrow ENT 2 ENT, and this will amortize the second payment, and you are able to complete the whole table with that. can do it manually, or you do it using your calculator, which is the easiest form to using it. And also remember, if, for example, in the exam or somewhere where you are working out, you are practicing, and they say, what will be the third payment? You first need to do this step. You amortize your payment. After amortizing your payment, then you can go to your third payment that they are looking for. If they say in the third quarter, so you go to the third quarter, but making sure that you read the number of months or the number of years that you need to be at. Okay. And that is how you will amortize the payment. Any question? Anything you want to know? Anything that still you are unsure about and you want to
Nothing I'm unsure about, but I'd just like to do more exercises to get the hang of it.
Okay. So can I also ask, do you guys have financial calculators, or are you calculating manually?
I've got a financial calculator.
Okay.
And I'm calculating manually.
You calculating manually? Okay.
Yes.
So I need to accommodate both of you so that then we can move together. Okay. So here is your first exercise. We can do this one together. We can talk about it together. And then the rest of the other exercise, I'll give you some time to look at them on your own as well. And then give you 10 minutes to look at them, and then we do them again together as a team. Okay, so since you both have different calculators, and it means you're going to apply different methods of calculating this. So I will give you a chance to do both methods at the same time as well. So this one says a loan of 15,080 Rand is being repaid by 14 half-yearly payments, with the first payment made on 1.5 year after the loan is taken. The interest rate is 9%, compounded half-yearly. The size of each half-yearly payment is 1,475 Rand 13 cents. And this is represented by the means of this timeline. Consider the amortization schedule. The outstanding principal after 2 years will be, so since they say it is in 14 half-yearly payments, so what will be half-yearlies? Half-yearlies are 2. So 14, it means this is 7 years. So you will need to be careful and need to be able to understand and unpack the half-yearlies into a year as well. So we know that there are 14. So 14 divided by 2, because every year, a year is made up of 2 half-yearlies. So then it means it will be 14 divided by 2, which is equals to 7. So this is a loan that was taken up for 7 years. They also already calculated the payment. They're telling us how much the percentage of interest is. Our interest rate is 9%. And we know that we have our principal amount, our present value, or our P. They want the outstanding principal at the beginning or after 2 years. So what will be after 2 years? If this makes up 1 year, this is 2 years. So 2 years will be after 4 payments have been made. So what we need to do is draw up an amortization schedule. This is easy because it was an assignment. they do it in this way, but in the exam, they will not do it in this way because then it takes up a lot of time. So it means you will draw up your amortization schedule. I hope I wrote all of them. And this will be the period. This will be our outstanding principal. This will be interest. These are our PMTs. And this is our principal repaid. So once you have that, what you do, our period, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and da da da. I'm not going to go deeper because I'm only looking for after 4 payments. So our outstanding principal was 15,080. Our payment, which we can write 1475.18, and you complete it for the whole table because the payment is the same for the whole period. Now we can calculate the interest. Our interest will be, because
Sorry,
it's simple
Lizzie.
interest, yes.
Is it 0.13 or 0.18? The payment.
Let me put on my glasses. I see 18. Is it 13?
I'm not sure
yeah.
because I also wear glasses. I'm not quite sure. Is it 13 or 18?
Oh, it's 13. Yes, it's 13. Okay. I try not to wear them, but yeah, it's 13. It's 13. Okay, let me just put them on because sometimes I also don't see all the numbers. That's why I read them wrong. Okay, so this will be 13. So let's now calculate. Let me rewrite it again. 1475.13. Okay, so now we calculate our interest, which we know that we need to use PRT. Our rate is 9%, so 9 divided by 100. We need to calculate it. Our I will be 0.09 divided by our half yearlies, which is equals to 2. So divide by 2 gives us set up 004, gives us 0.0445. So we're going to use that to calculate our interest. So this will be 15,080 multiplied by 0.045 multiplied by 1, which will be that. So our interest here is 678. I don't know where I'm getting 680. 678,60, and then we can calculate the principal repaid, which is 1475.13 minus 678.60 gives us 796.53. Okay. So you can continue. I mean, the one who's calculating manually, the one who's using a financial calculator, you don't have to do it this way because your calculator can do it for you. So you go second function, let's do the payment. Second function CA. So Tristan, you will continue, and then Cindy, you do the financial calculator. Is Cindy and Tristan the same person? Wait, am I calling you?
No, you're right.
Okay,
No.
I got it right. So Cindy,
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
financial calculator. Tristan, you are doing it manually. So continue.
Yes.
So now you say what 15,080 minus 793 until you get to number 4 and get to do number 5 balance, because this is what we're looking for. They say what will be the outstanding principal after 2 years. This is after 2 years. This is year 1. This is year 2. After year 2, it's after you made the fourth payment will be after year 2. So calculate until you get that value, which will give you your answer. Cindy, you first do your clear your calculator from any stored values, and then put in your compounding periods, which are 2, and then press the E and T button, and then go on and off your calculator, and then put in your present value, plus or minus 15080, and say this is your present value, and then put in your interest, which is 9, and press I/Y, and then put, you can either do this, when we put the period, you can say 14, and then say N, doesn't really matter. So you will say 14 because that's what they give us, and then you say N. You don't have to go and convert it and multiply again with 2. So just store the value of 14 because it's already compounded. And then you say comp, and then press PV. Present, not PV, PMT, PMT. So you compute payment. And when you compute payment, you should see that value on your calculator.
I just, I pressed a PV. How do I?
You can press 0 and then press PV again.
0?
Sorry, you press, no, sorry, wait. You said comp PV, it should give you the same answer as you have on the, like 1508. So say comp PMT.
Oh no, I think I must start from scratch.
Okay, so you can start from scratch by tearing your calculator and then follow the steps.
Okay. Yes, I'm getting payment 1475.13.
Okay, so now you are ready to amortize your values. So press the AMRT and then press 1, and then press down arrow, and then press 1 and press ENT.
Okay.
And then press down arrow, and it will say balance. We're not looking for that one because it's the first payment that we are amortizing. It should give you the balance of 414. So you should have this table as well. You can draw it. You can draw the table and complete the whole values if you want.
So it's 14283.46.
Yes. And 283, yeah. For some reason, I'm writing too big. And you can say down arrow, and it will give you the principal repaid. It will say principal, and press down arrow, it will give you interest. And you can also just complete them if you want. So it will give you everything from line number 1, which is the same as what we have. So when you look at the...
Okay, yeah, I wrote this. The outstanding principal, I wrote, the principal repaid, I wrote in the wrong place. Let me just fix it.
No, don't write on the second line. It's everything relating to the first line. We already wrote it like the first line. So you just confirm that it is 79653, which is the same as what we wrote when we were calculating manually. And also with the interest, it will be 768.60, which we wrote when we were calculating manually.
Yes, I got that. But sorry, Lizzie, but I wrote that in the second line.
No, it must be part of the first line, because remember, everything you are doing now is relating to the first payment that you've made.
But can I just confirm? So in line 1, initially the outstanding principal is 15,080. Then the interest is 678.60. Then the payment, obviously, 1475.13. And then the principal repaid, I wrote, still in line 1, is 14,283.46.
No, that is when you saw the balance. Remember, the first thing you saw there when we pressed the down arrow was the balance. Your balance, that is the closing balance. After payment number 1, that needs to go to opening principal for line number 2. Do you see where I am right now? You see the under line number 2, that is 14,283.46.
Yes.
That is your balance. Remember, balance is your closing balance of payment. So after payment number 1, your closing balance will go on to line number 2.
Okay.
And when you press down arrow, you get the principal for that payment, which goes to line number 1 because we're still busy with line number 1. And when you press down arrow, it will give you the interest of payment number 1, which goes to line number 1. We already complete on our table, me and you now, we have already completed it because we started manually. Now you will see we don't have to complete the whole blogging because we only want the payment after second year. So what you do, you go back to down arrow, and then you press down arrow, and then you press 4, and then you press ENT, and you repeat this step again. Down arrow, and then you press 4, and then you press ENT. When you press down arrow again, it will give you the principal repay.
No, I think I made a mistake somewhere. I'm still. Why am I still getting the?
Okay. Yeah? Wait. If you feel you think you made a mistake, you can press the on C button, and then you go back and say comp payment. It should take you back to the payment that you have.
Okay.
And then amort, and then press 1.
1.
And then down arrow.
Down arrow.
1.
1.
ENT.
ENT.
Down arrow.
Yeah.
And what do you see? 14,283, ne?
That's
which
right.
is your closing balance. Then press down arrow again. It will give you the balance.
Principal.
It will give you the principal. And then you press down arrow again. It gives you
the interest.
Then press down arrow.
Yes.
And press 4.
4.
And press ENT.
ENT.
And then press down arrow again.
Yes.
And then press 4.
4.
And then press ENT again.
Okay.
And then press down arrow. That is the answer you are looking for.
Okay. Okay, so that's 11672.29.
That's right. That will be payment, your outstanding principal after 2 years, which is your balance after 2 years. After 2 years.
Okay. After 4 years.
After 2 years.
4 payments. Okay, there we go. Yes. Okay.
Tristan?
Yes.
Are you winning?
Yes. I have to recalculate because with the payments I forgot to put the cents with it. So I had to go back and then recalculate everything. I saw it only afterwards. So.
Oh, okay. I know that there are easy way of doing this. No, there is no easy way of doing this. So you'll have to do it this way to get there. So let me see if no, there's no other easy way, because you definitely will need to have the balance for every one of them to calculate. Okay, yeah. So you'll have to complete the whole table until you get to payment number 4, and then do the outstanding principal. Where are you at right now? Because I can just double check your values for you. We can complete the whole table for you, and then you can double check if the values that you have are right.
I think I made a mistake.
Yeah, but
Because
do you still have, wait, do you have the first line completed as we have it?
Yes. And then the second line, I have for my outstanding principal, I have 14283 60 cents. Then the interest is 64276.
It should say 46, because it is outstanding principal of 15,080 minus the principal repaid of 79653. So this should say 46 or 47 in your instance as well. It should say 47, not 46, sorry. 47. Let me put my calculator to 2 decimals.
Oh.
Yes, it should say 47. So now you need to calculate your interest using that 14. So say 14283.47 multiplied by 0.045, and that will give you just want to complete this line as well. 13451.10, and my principal is 832.37, and interest. So you should get interest of 642.76.
I actually have that.
Yes, so if that is your interest,
That is
now to calculate, you calculate the principal repaid by saying the payment of 1475 minus 642. That should give you,
which I got 832.37 cents.
yes. So now going to the third one. Yes. So now you need to calculate the opening principal for line number 3 by saying 14,283 minus 832, which should give you 13,450. And then you calculate.
Yes, I did it like that.
Yes. Then now calculate the interest that goes there. So while you calculate the interest, I'll complete the whole table so that you can see all the values completed. Remember, this is going to be repeating. Just want to. Okay, so this is 1,258.1.27, and this is 869.83. This is 605.30. Are you winning? Are you winning? Tristan?
Yes, I'm just checking the amounts. So
Okay. And that is why a financial calculator makes it easy for you to answer the financial calculation questions quicker and save more time. Are you winning?
I just saw where I made a mistake.
Okay. All right. So as long as you are able to correct that, and then the answer would be option number 2. And your answer is just option number 2 to answer this question. Okay, so the next question is also related to the information we just did. So now they're asking, consider amortization schedule, and then what will be the interest due after 2.5 years. So remember also, so going back to our schedule, which is this one, what will be 2.5 year? 2.5 year will be at amortization number 5. So what will be because this will be after 2 years and a half will go into the other part of the other year. 2.5 years means after payment number 5. So for Cindy, yours it's easy because you just say down arrow after wherever you are. Probably you I don't know where your calculator is at right now. Where are you at on your calculator?
I went to go and click on and comp and payment, so I was back on payment.
You are back on payment, okay?
Yeah.
So if you are back on payment, no problem. You need to do the amort. So you go amort, and you first amortize your first payment, and then press down arrow, and then press 1, and then press E and T. And what you do, just press down arrow, down arrow, down arrow 3 times until you see interest. And then after interest, when you press down arrow, you're going to press 5. And then press E and T and do that step twice. So you will do that step twice, and you will press down arrow. The first down arrow, it will give you the balance. The second down arrow will give you the principal repaid. The last down arrow, it will give you interest. That is the answer that they are looking for. For Tristan, since you have this table already completed, let's assume that you've completed it, you have all the values. Now you also need to calculate your interest based on this value, and that will be the answer you are looking for. That will be the answer. So since I'm using financial calculator, I'm going to write all the other values. So that's 722. Oh yeah, right. Now I forgot what this value was. 72722 and comma 42, and then if I press down arrow, I get 949.88 on here, and down arrow I get 5. I get 5.225. That should be the answer that they are looking for. If I go back here, that should be option number 2. Going back here. Are you winning, Cindy? Cindy, talk to me on your calculator. Where are you right now?
I made a mistake, so I'm just going back. But I'm in the middle of it. I'm going to tell you now.
Okay. Remember, when you make a mistake, you don't have to start from putting in the principal amount and computing the payment. The data is already stored on your calculator.
Yes, I realize that, but now I just go back to payment, and then I take the steps again from there, but now I just got a bit lost.
Okay, let's do this way. Press the on and see button.
Yeah.
And press comp PMT.
Comp PMT. Yeah.
You should see 14 months. Then press the amort.
Amort.
Press 1. You must also write the steps down somewhere,
yes,
that you can always remember them.
Yeah, I did take a screenshot of it.
Press amort, then press 1. Did you do that? Then press down arrow.
Yeah.
And then press 1.
1,
then press ENT,
ENT,
press down arrow,
down arrow,
down arrow,
yeah.
down arrow.
Mm-hmm.
You see there it's interest.
Yes,
Then press down arrow
yes.
and press 5
5,
and press ENT,
ENT,
down arrow,
yeah.
5,
5,
ENT,
ENT,
down arrow,
yes. Now the
down
balance
arrow,
is there.
down arrow. It should show you interest. And that's what the question was asking you.
Yep, so the
What
interest,
is the interest due? And that should give you 525.25.
yeah, we did.
So you need to write the steps down so that you remember them, how you answer these questions.
Yeah, I did.
So I'm running out of space and I don't write all of the things down. So make sure that on your side, you also write the steps down.
Yes.
And Tristan, did you win? Did you get 525 interest? By
Yes, I
taking
won.
the amount you got, which was 11,672, you multiply by 0,045, it should give you 525. Okay, so that was another question relating to that. There is one last question that is also related to the statement, which is after 4 years, the interest rate drops to 8.5. After 4 years, the interest rate drops to 8.5 per year, compounded half yearly. The size of the new half yearly payments will be, so here they want you to calculate there's half yearly payments for the after the price has dropped. So now here are the things. You need to get the balance after four years, because after 4 years the interest changes, therefore it's going to be calculated using the new balance. If we go back to our table, we only did number 1, number 2, and half of 2 years. So we need to do 5, 6, 7, and 8. Because then those, they give us 4 years. Because that 1 and 2 is 1 year, 3 and 4 is second year, 5 and 6 is third year, 7 and 8 is 4 year. So I'll start with Cindy because yours is easy to get. We know that after 4 years, the balance will be after payment number 8. So now, I guess your calculator is still on interest, ne?
Yes,
press
on interest.
down arrow.
Okay.
And then press 8.
8.
And press ENT.
ENT.
And go again, press down arrow.
Down arrow.
And press 8.
8.
And press ENT.
ENT.
And press down arrow.
Yes.
And there is your balance after payment number 8. So now we go back to this question. We know what our principal value is at this point. So this, I'm saving you time as well, Kristen. So we're going to use our new payment, our new present value, which is 7608.54. That's our new payment, a new present value. Now, what you need to do is go on and off your calculator. But for, I'm going to come back to you, Cindy. I'm going to tell Tristan what to do. So Tristan, remember you manually, because now I'm creating shortcuts for you. Manually, since you have this table in front of you, you need to do 7 and 8. You need to, and then also add 9 because you will need the, no, you don't, yes, you will need the balance after payment number 8, which will go under 9. So you will need to complete your whole table, including for 7, 8, and 9 balance. And when you get to the 9, that will be your balance that you have. So you will need to complete this table the way it is until line number 9. When you get to line number 9, it will give you the balance at line number 9, which will be 7608. That will be your present value. Then you need to use the formula because we need to calculate the payment. Remember, it's P is equals to R times 1 plus I to the power of N minus 1 divided by I times 1 plus I to the power N. Remember, your N, your I in this instance is still 0. No, it's no longer 0, remember that, né? It's no longer going to be 0, 045. It is 8.5. So you will have to say 0.085 divided by 2. You calculate that. 0.085 divided by 2. Let's have 0.004, which is equals to 0.0425. That will be your interest. Your N, remember now, you're not going to start from the beginning. It is half yearlies, and they said after 4 years. So now, after 4 years, how many years are remaining after 4 years? They are 7. Originally there were 7. So it means we already did 4. We are left with 3. So your N now will be 3 times 2. And this will give you your remainder, which are your remainder of the half yearlies, which will be 6 half yearlies remaining. So you're going to calculate your N using that, complete the whole formula, and calculate PMT, which is your R in this instance. So for Cindy, what you need to do on your one, because you're using your calculator, your present value is your balance that you got right now. After you press 8, amount 8, and then you get your balance, which is this present value. Now you can go back and you press the on and off on your button on your calculator.
Yeah.
Now, since the compounding periods are still the same as what we have stored on the calculator, you do not have to change it. What you need to do is the following. We need to store the new value of our present value. Plus or minus 7608.54, that is our PV. So you just go and put in plus or minus 760854, and then you press PV.
Yes.
Then you also go and press 3 and press second function and press N and then press N again. So you will press 3, you press second function, and then you press N, and then you press N again. And it should show N6. N is 6.
Yes.
Also need to put in your new interest, which is 8.5, and then you press I/Y. 8.5, and then you press IY. And when you are done, you say PMT.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So
and they want it to the nearest rand. So since it's to the nearest rand, it is the same as 1,463.
Yes.
And that's how you will answer the questions also in the exam.
Okay. Sounds simple.
It sounds simple, but it's not as simple as that. You need
Yeah,
to remember the steps always.
yeah, that's the thing.
Always. Always.
Okay.
Tristan, how are we doing?
I'm still busy with completing the table until 9.
You don't have to do that at the moment. You can do it on your own. I just
Oh,
because I am giving you shortcuts. Otherwise, then we won't finish. So you
oh,
can use that value and substitute into the formula. So because you need to practice for when you go write the exam, since you do not have your financial calculator, I am also giving you the steps that you need to follow in order for you to be able to get to this point. So you don't have to do it right now. I gave you the value. So when you are revising at home, make sure that you get to 7608.54 on line number 9 as a balance or opening principal or outstanding principal. So at the moment, all you need to do is substitute the values into the formula. Which P is 7608.54. I'm going to take everything that is underneath the bracket. Sorry, everything that is multiplying R and put it there. Because eventually we're going to divide by it. So it's 1 plus our I is 0.0425 to the power of 6 minus 1. Remember that it's going to be minus 1 divided by 0.0425 times 1 plus 0.0425 to the power of 6. And the answer you will get should be 1,463. Let me know if you're getting it. Guess what kind of a calculator are you using? I don't know your name. On the screen, I can see guest.
My name is Charlotte. I joined the meeting a bit late. I was struggling with my network here. So I'm actually waiting for the next example so that I can start with you.
Okay, what kind of calculator are you using? Do you have a financial calculator or are you calculating manually?
Yes, I'm using the financial. No, I'm using the financial calculator.
Okay.
Thank you, Lizzie.
I have the answer. I got the same answer.
Okay, great. Next question. Remember, I said some of the questions I'm going to let you do the exercise by yourself, and then we'll come back and discuss it. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to look at the question and see if you can answer it by yourself. And then after that, unless you tell me that you are done, then we do the feedback. So because this is only asking you to calculate payment, so our payment R is equals to, and this is for Tristan, you still use the same formula that we used previously. And those who are using the financial calculator, you remember the steps. Second function CA, second function, and then you put in your compounding periods and then press the E and T button. Then you go on and off your calculator, plus or minus. Obviously, we are calculating payment, so they would have given you your present value, and you need to put in your interest and then put in your period by pressing second function, multiplying that with the compounding period and pressing N to store the value, and then comp PMT. Pressing comp PMT will give you your answer. And for Tristan, remember interest divided by the compounding periods. Interest is 0.12 divided by the compounding periods. They are quarterlies. And your N, remember to also multiply your N, which is 10 years, multiplied by 4, which are the compounding periods. You must also be very careful when you answer this, because he makes a down payment. Are you winning?
Yes, we are winning.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. Kristen, are you still busy?
I'm struggling a little.
Okay. Let's do this. Those who are calculating using financial calculator, so it's our present value will be 200,000 minus 50,000, which will leave us with 150,000. So 100, is it 150,000? Yes. $150,000 is our present value, and this is our compounding period. Our interest is 12, and it's for 10 years. And when we come, what value do you get?
I got option 1, which is 6489.36.
Yes, that is correct. And for those who are calculating manually, like Kristen, we get 0.12 divided by 4, which gives us 0.03, and 10 times 4 is 40. So we just substitute. We know that our present value is 150,000 divided by everything that is underneath, which is 1 plus our I of 0.03 to the power of 40 minus 1 divided by 0.03 times 1 plus 0.03 to the power of 40. And when you calculate all this, you should get 6489.3567, which is, to round it off to 2 decimal, which will be 36.
I keep making silly mistakes. That's the problem. Like if I punch it in the calculator, then I miss something, and that's our answer.
What calculator are you using?
The Casio.
You're using a Casio with fractions, né?
Yes.
Then use this as a fraction calculator. So once you have written the formula down, so you first do your bigger fraction, you put in on your calculator your fraction. And then this will be your where you say 150,000. And then you navigate with your arrows to go to this fraction at the bottom. When you get to this fraction at the bottom, you put the bracket, and then you put inside that fraction another fraction, which takes those two fractions into consideration. And then you can put in your values by putting the first, doing the bracket inside there and saying bracket 1 plus. Maybe let me go to the calculator. Let me go to the calculator itself. I don't have it open. Let me first open it. Then I will show you how to use your calculator. I have a fraction calculator as well, so should be easy. Let me show you on the calculator. So let me end the show. Keep all the values that are on here. Okay. Let's go to okay. Let's share my whole screen. Okay, so if you look here, is your calculator looks like somehow like that. So let's do that. We first start with the fraction and we put 150,000. Then go down and you put another, or we do the fraction, the, what do you call this, brackets. And then we put the fraction underneath there. And we say bracket again, and we do 1 plus 0.03, and we close the bracket and we press the power button and we put the 40, and then you go with an arrow, you press the arrow and it will take it down, and then you press -1, and you need to go down now. We need to go down to complete the bottom part, which is 0.03 times 1 plus 0.03 close bracket, and then put the power, that is to the power of 40, and then use your arrow to go out, and sorry, not out. I still need to go back. When I am on here, on this line, I need to put back the bracket. Remember, it needs to close, and then I can go out and press equal. And as you can see there,
Thank you.
And that's how easy it is to use your calculator as well. Okay.
I'm sorry, Lizzie. Can you please help me with my financial calculator? It's cutting off the commas, the numbers after the comma. How do I reset it so that it shows me even with the commas too?
Okay, we'll do that just now. You press setup.
Charlotte, did you also get that the correct amount but with no decimals?
Yes.
Oh, I had the same issue here.
Okay, you press setup and then press 0 and then press 0 and then press 2. It will take your calculator to 2 decimals, since we're working with 2 decimals. But once we are done with financial maths, you need to always take your calculator back to 4 decimals. So your calculator needs to always be on 4 decimals. So you just press setup 004, it will take you to 3 decimals or 4 decimals. Setup 002, it will take you to 2 decimals.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay. The next question is related to the same information that we used previously. Here they're asking you, what is the total payment? Not the payment that we just calculated, but they just want to know what is the total payment. So since you have the payment and you know for how long they are taking you know the payment, that is our payment, you know how long they are taking they are making the payment. So you're going to take this payment, multiply by 40, and it should give you total payments. So you will take that 6,489.36, multiply that with 40. How did we get 40? 10 years compounded totally. It means we're going to make 40 payments, and that should give you your answer.
Option number 3. I got option number 3.
It will be option number 3. That was the easy one. Now they want to know how much total interest was paid. So now you know what the total payment is. Nah? You know that total payment, yeah, which is your future value, which you calculated now, which is 574. 0.27. Did we get 27? Why am I getting 40 on this one? Okay, here they used 40, so let's use 40 because you might not get the right answer here as well. So we must use 40 the same way as they used 40 there. So you have your future payment, but you also have your present value, remember? 150,000 was your present value. Interest, remember, interest is future value minus present value. Interest is future value minus present value.
Option number 2.
Option?
Yes.
Option
Number 2.
Yes. That was also easy.
Yes.
Now we go to the other questions. This ones I got them from past exam papers also. Jonty wants to buy a new truck. that costs 350,000. The bank lends him 80% of the price for the truck. So he's not going to get it for 350, but only the 80% of it. So you need to calculate 80% of 350 as your present value. At 11% interest rate per annum compounded monthly with the term of 7 years. The rest of the money will be paid by Jonty as a deposit for the truck. How much monthly payments will that be? So you need to calculate first your present value, which is your P, which will be 350 times 0.80, which will give you your present value.
280,000.
Which will be 280,000. Now you can calculate your payment. R is equals to P divided by 1 plus I to the power N minus 1 divided by I times 1 plus I to the power N. Remember your I is 0.11 divided by our compounding period. They are 12. And your N is for 7 years. You need to multiply that by 12. Those who are calculating using a financial calculator. Second function C8. Second function P/Y. Put in your compounding period. Press ENT. On and off your calculator. Plus or minus your present value. That would be your present value. Put in your interest. Put in your period and multiply that with the compounding periods, and then store the value as your N, and then come E and T. That's all what they want. Seven times 12 is 84. 0.11 divided by 12 is 0.0092. Substitute into your formula. Your R will be given by 280,000 divided by everything that is in the bracket, which is 1 plus 0.0092 to the power of 84 minus 1 divided by 0.0092 times 1 plus 0.0092 to the power. Oh, dear Lord. 4.
Hi, Lizzie.
Yes.
I've got option number 2.
That is correct.
I am not getting any answer close to that. And I'm following the
Check.
steps. I don't know what I'm
Okay.
doing.
Let's do the steps together. Tell me, what did you put? Where did you put? What did you put? Let's hear your calculator and start talk to me through your steps.
Okay, second function CA, second function PY, it's 12 ENT on plus minus 280,000 present value, 11 inches per year, 7 NN.
You must do second function N.
Oh, I missed the second function. Okay, that explains it. Okay, thank you.
Must make sure that you write the steps down.
I was looking at the steps, Lizzie. I don't know how I still got it wrong. Ay.
Tristan, are you winning?
Do I have to write all the decimals? Or can I round it off?
No, you mean for the interest?
Yes.
No, you have to write all the decimals.
Okay, I think that's
how many do you get? How many decimals does it give you? Because my calculator is on 4 decimals. That is why maybe probably.
I have like, I think 10 decimals here. So, yeah.
Okay, so maybe round it off to 4 at least. Let's leave it at 4 decimals.
If I leave it at 4, then I get 4,000 something.
Oh, you mean no? Oh, you mean when you do the final answer? When you get to the final answer after you've calculated your R? Sorry,
No,
leave it to 2 decimals. Only 2 decimals. Yeah, but money is always to 2 decimals.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what do you get as your final answer? Tristan, do you get the same? 4794.28.
No, I don't get the same. I'm still punching in all the decimals when it comes to the interest.
Okay, so what was your interest?
It is 0.0. It's a long number.
Yeah.
0.0916, like 9 sixes after that.
Yeah, that is why I'm saying for your interest, leave it at 4 decimal, then it will be 92. But usually I will encourage you to use all the decimals.
I get 4,800. I don't know where I went wrong.
There is somewhere where you went wrong when you were doing the calculation. Are you using your fractions? Or are you calculating the manual?
Yes, I'm using
like
the
one
fractions.
by one. Because
I'm
then
actually doing the way you showed me, doing everything at once.
Yeah. So did you remember to subtract 1 on the other one? Remember, you're not subtracting from the power. You must make sure that you put the arrow down. You must press the arrow so that the -1, it's not subtracting 84 minus 1.
Fail. I don't know where I'm going wrong.
I'm trying to calculate it from my side using the fractions to see if I'm also gonna get the same answer as you. Then it might be because we are rounding off 0.0092 close bracket, the power of 84. Out the bracket there and press equal. Yes, I also get a 4800. It's because we rounded off the interest too quickly. So you must use all the digits from the interest. So if I change my calculations, yeah, it's the interest. So make sure that your interest, because you are using your calculator as well, you can do them as fractions as well. So 0.09, is it 11? 0.11 divide by 2. So I'm gonna change all my fractions, all my interest to fractions as well. And yeah, so you can change them to fractions and they will give you the same
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So maybe we can look at the last question, which is also relating to the same question that we had. And this should take us to the end of the session today. We need to take that payment that we have and we need to amortize it. So those who already calculated the payment, you have it there, is 4794. What we need to do is to amortize that payment. So the only thing we need right now is just to get the balance after payment number 1 is made, and that will tell us which table to use. So if you look at this table, we know number 1 is incorrect. You know why number 1 is incorrect? Because our outstanding principal at number 1, it says it's 350. And also number 2 as well, it says it's 350. And we know that this is not the right one because we know that our principal amount should be 280. So therefore, we're not going to be bothered with number 1 or number 2. So what we do, you press amort, and for Tristan, you're going to use your balance of 280, calculate your interest based on your interest rate, and you will get what the value of your, those two values are the same. So you might also want to calculate your principal repaid, because then the values of the principal repaid are different, and then it will tell you which one is the correct one. For those who are using the financial calculator, you press the AMRT button and then you press 1. You go down arrow 1 and then you press ENT. And then when you press down arrow, it should give you the value, either that one or this one. So you need to make sure that the value that it gives you is the correct one. So amort 1, down arrow 1, enter, down arrow, and I can already see which one is the correct answer just by doing that.
Hi, Lizzie.
Yes.
I got option number 3 with 27772.39.
Yes, that will be the correct one. And okay, maybe let me see what else is here. Okay, then the other question from the same statement that we have, following that one, it says, after 5 years, the bank adjusts the interest rate to 15%. So now, remember the same story that we went through, you need to go to the balance, what will be after 5 years? This is a compounded monthly payment. After 5 years will be 5 times 12 will give you payment after 12 years. What will be 5 times 12 is 5 times 12 after 60 payments. So now we know that after 60 payments, so this will be 60 payments. After 60 payments, what will be the balance? So you need to go to your amort. I don't know where you are on your calculator, so we need to put in 60 and press enter, down arrow. Oh, sorry, my bad. Amort. You can press the on and off button. Sorry, press the on and off button, because I messed up on my one, and I guess on yours as well you would have messed it up. So let's go AMRT and then press 1 and then press down arrow, press 1 and then press ENT and then press down arrow 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 and then press 60 and then press ENT and press down arrow and then 60, then ENT, and then tell me what do you get. That will be the amount we're going to use. It's not the answer. I just want that amount that you have.
I get 102,864.47. 102,864.47.
That's what you get. Okay.
Yes.
Oh. I got lost, Lizzie. It wrote error 2 for me.
Press the on and off button on your calculator.
Yes.
Press comp PMT and tell me what you see.
Comp PMT.
Yes.
It's still writing error 2 for me.
Yeah, it's because you got out of your calculator. You cleared your calculator from the stored values. When you do your final maths calculations, do not go out of your calculator until you see what the next question asks you about. Especially when you are doing the financial calculations. So for you, you will have to go back to the beginning, which is here. Do the payment and comp payment. Once you have the payment, then you come and do amort, and you amortize the first payment by pressing amort 1, down arrow 1, enter, and then press the down arrow, down arrow, down arrow. So you will press it 3 times, and then when you go to the 4th time, you press down arrow 60, enter, down arrow 60, enter, and that will give you your value, which is that value that we have, or I have. So it's 102,864.47. For some reason, mine it's got 27, but it's fine. It's 47. Now, this is what we're going to call the present value, because we want to know what will be the new payment after the new the interest have changed after 5 years. So now what we do, we use this as our present value, which is our P. Our interest is 15, so we go second function, CA, those who are using the financial calculator. Second function is still compounded monthly, or actually it's still compounded monthly. You don't have to do second function CA. I hope you haven't gone out of your calculator and do this. Sorry. So we have our present value and everything is still on our calculator. All you do is you press on and off your calculator. Now, going to just say plus or minus and store the new value, which is 102,864.47, and you press PV, and then you go 15, and you say I and Y, and then you press how many more years will be remaining, because the thing was 7 years and we paid 5 years, so it's 2 years remaining. So it's 2 second function times P/Y, and then press N, and then comp and PMT, and that should give you your new value. For Tristan, you have to use the formula. This is your formula. You will need to divide your I by your new I by 12. You will need to multiply your new N by 12, which is 2. Going back. So for Tristan, yours will be 0.15 divided by 12, because it's new interest. And you are also going to say your new N will be 2 years times 12, and substitute into the formula, which is R is equals to P divided by the accumulation factor, which was 1 plus I to the power N minus 1 divided by I times 1 plus I to the power N. So you'll have to use that formula to calculate your new payment. So what do you get as a new payment? I'm going to say
Question number 4.
2,864.47. It's my new present value. 15 is my new interest, and 2 second function n again, and comp EMT, and the answer is option number 4. And that's how you will do it in the exam. 4 marks, 4 marks, 4 marks. That's 16% to your overall pass from amortization only. And with that, it concludes today's session. I had several answers, but just to wrap up, we learned how to do the amortization for the rest of the session to calculate more amortization questions. If you have another question.
Sorry, Lizzie, do you mind? Sorry, just before you go to the recap, don't you mind just want to pause for 1 second? I just want to take a screenshot of those last 2 extra questions that you have that I can maybe do on my own.
Okay, wait, let's start. It starts here. That is the first one.
Number 10. Okay. You just copy paste it. Okay.
That's the
11.
second one.
Let me just take 11.
The interest.
Okay, got it.
The last one.
And then
the new one. This one is the new one as well.
Got that, thank you.
The other one.
We just got that, thank you.
And the last one.
Okay, just save that. Got that, thank you. Got that, thank you, Lizzie.
Okay. And that concludes today's session.
Okay. Thank you, Lizzie. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming through. I will see you on Monday when we do exam prep.
Yes. Are we going to start from? Are we going to work through all question papers?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I will just pull up one past exam question paper, and then we work through it.
Okay.